lights.
Check. Yes, lovely.
Are you going to put makeup on today or no?
No, I like a natural look. I like to be as fresh and dewy as Jesus intended.
Well, I hate to tell you, but I think there might be some makeup on your pillowcase.
Oh yes, no, there's
Yeah,
makeup
okay,
on
that's
that.
what I got on your face.
Oh, no,
I
no.
see. I understand.
Oh, no, I don't go to bed with that makeup on.
Oh, no. What happens if you're in a fire in the middle of the night? You look like a monster.
That's exactly it.
Firemen don't rescue ugly women.
No, they just take your jewelry and push you down. Which can also be hot. Yeah. Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10 Episode 6. And I am here with my illegitimate drag daughter, Ms. Wilhelmina Boxfarts. How are you, Wilhelmina?
I'm super Wilma. How are you?
I am thrilled that it's the last day of the second bracket.
I am done with bracket 2.
Oh, I didn't think they could do it to me, but they did.
I was so excited about bracket 2.
Yeah, well, after bracket 1 I can now see why the producers stacked the deck the way they did. Because if they had started with bracket 2, I might not have continued watching. No.
Shenanigans.
Exactly. But before we get started, I have only one thing to say. Jorge, drink me! Oh, look at this.
Ooh.
Wilhelmina. What are these called, Jorge? Pineapple bombs? I don't know, that doesn't bode well. Well, thank you, Jorge. What is it? I wonder what it is.
If it's not pineapple juice.
There's a lot of vodka. I don't know. Are you tasting any pineapple juice? Oh! Somebody's getting bombed. Oh. Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you, Jorge.
All right. Well.
Finally, something to do with this bathtub jizz.
That was my drag queen name in high school. But before we get started, I do want to thank all my tipper-doos this week. There were a lot, so I haven't written any of your names down. But you all know who you are, and you know I love you and appreciate it. And if you would like to leave a tipper-doo, whether I say your name or not, the YouTube thanks button down below. And, of course, my OG PayPal link in the description box down below. You heard me. All right. Well, let's get to it.
Oh, let's get to it.
Oh, well, we kicked this episode off with another round of the MVQ points.
The pointless point drama.
Or whatever. Yeah. Oi. I don't know. I didn't care anymore.
No, there was some talk about evening the scores and making sure that all the queens had the same number of points, which is not the point of the point.
No. The hard thing here is that MIB and Georges had 4.5 points each. Lydia only had 3.
Yeah.
And Tina had 2.
Yeah.
So the best way they could have done this, where they would have still had a chance to edge Mistress and or Georges out, would have been to give all their points to either Carrie, bring her up to 3 to tie with Lydia, give all their points to Lydia and Tina, which would have moved Tina up to 4, and...
Would it have moved Tina up to 4?
Yeah, she had 2.
No, Tina... Oh, yeah, all the points.
Yeah, like 2 points.
Yeah.
To pull a mistress, but intentionally so. And then to give 2 points to Lydia, which would put her to 5, which would have put her ahead of the other 2, which would have put Tina in a position to outpoint somebody. The thing is, yes, just like that. Well done.
I'm very good at this.
Well, it's because you're wearing Aunt Bee's nails. Thanks, Aunt Bee! Mwah! But seriously, I think that either of those two things would have been the way to go. But Tina gave her point to NPB, which, as nice as that was a burn point from the burner.
It was a pity point.
Yeah,
it
wasn't helping anybody. It was unstrategic. Yeah. It wasn't meeting any of the situation that Mistress and Georges had created last week. So right away, when that happened, I knew that it was going to be Mistress and Georges in the top 2 for sure. Of course, Lydia and Carrie switched points because they were gonna.
Yeah.
And Nicole gave Carrie a point because she was going to the first time, got talked out of it, and regretted it ever since. So that brought Carrie up to 2, tying with Tina, which Tina was not thrilled about.
Tina was not happy about that.
This is the thing about Tina that was bothering me this episode.
Everything.
Well, yes, that. And the fact that she was taking stuff personally. Did you see that? I did. Oh, what is that?
Finally.
I'm juicy.
I understand why strangers do it to you. It looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, the crust. But I just felt that Tina, like, it's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. How you play the game is a choice. But it's a game. And they were in a situation by Mistress's design that put them into a situation where they had to be strategic, not gracious.
You have to play the game. I was not buying anything Tina was trying to sell. No. In the confessional, I'm just trying to raise up my girls. We're all here to support each other. I just want to be able to leave with my head held high.
Liza Minnelli.
Oh, I want to leave with $200,000.
Yeah.
That's what I want to
While still maintaining my audience, my fan base.
As long as you don't murder anyone. Like, I don't love what Mistress did.
No.
Helping her advance in the show and the game. So
do I want to see more of Mistress? No. But it's not my call.
It's not my call?
No.
It's not my show?
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of the shenanigans.
No one is.
No one asks me.
It seems to be.
If they asked me, it would be a very short show. They'd be like, here's the first episode. I'm like, great, let's get rid of half of these clips. I don't like...
Yeah, which is the point.
Oh, woof.
No kidding. The thing that did bother me about Mistress was throughout all of this, she kept trying to squeeze a point out of somebody like someone owed her a favor.
Yeah.
Like she didn't just screw everyone out of points the last round. So already it was like the writing was on the wall. This is how it's going to be. And the fact that it was so transparently blatant how she was going to play this made me mad at everyone else who wasn't getting it. Like, at least Lydia knew what was going on and was playing the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe she didn't like the rules, but she was going to abide by them.
Cozy up to the darkness.
Yes.
Don't be stupid.
No, deal with it later.
Yeah, if you know which way the wind is blowing, then get out your kite and play in the wind. The wind, the natural breezes.
Yeah, well, just keep your legs crossed.
I did appreciate that when Mistress kept trying to cause drama, and NPB just wasn't on board. She's like, oh, why aren't you mad about this? No, great. She's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I think there was a level of MPB, at least I would like to think there was a level of MPB where she realized she wasn't winning. She wasn't going on to the second round. So, you're not here for a long time, but have a good time.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
I quite warmed up to NPB this episode.
I did too.
She seemed to realize that she wasn't in the running. She was just there to have fun.
Yeah.
And she was also there to try and prevent Mistress from going through. So all things that very much appealed to me.
Yeah, because she came into that workroom a little too hot for somebody who thought she was better than everyone else and clearly had not brought the right wigs for it.
No, the right nothing.
Bless her.
The right nothing.
Bless her little sugar-coated heart. She got to stop wearing those glasses, though. It's making her look 100. Gosh.
That's not it. It's not just the glasses.
Well, they're not helping.
They're not helping, but... woof.
Yeah, exactly.
I would just like to remind everyone that when we do pick on NPP's age, I'd like to remind you we are several decades older than her. So we feel that it's not punching
You're
down.
72 and I'm 80. Yeah.
Dog years, though. Dog years. So next day in the workroom, NPP was just happy to be on the scoreboard, and Tina Burner was still whining about her imaginary alliance with Lydia that Lydia broke.
Yeah, did we miss the part where Lydia and her formed an alliance? Because I don't...
I think Tina was being too cagey about the alliance instead of just being blatant about it.
The fact that Lydia was openly asking Mistress to be her drag mother should have told Tina where the alliances were going. And she didn't. Idiot.
Foolish.
Yeah, well. She's not the sharpest bulb in the toolbox.
No, I don't.
Is that what they're saying?
I don't put bulbs. You don't put bulbs in your toolbox.
Oh, that's probably what I'm doing
They would
wrong.
smash.
Yeah.
Unless they're tulip bulbs. In which case you can put those things anywhere.
But you can't put those in a lamp. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
Is that what that smells
Are
like?
they tulip bulbs? Burning in my lamp? That's not good. True to form and in keeping with her shenanigans, Mistress tried to tell Carrie and MPB that Tina had come up with a plot for her and Lydia to do to MPB and Carrie what Mistress and Georges had done to everyone else the first week. And what's funny is she said, show me the receipts, and then production did, and we saw that she was completely lying. But of course, you can't show everyone that in the middle of production. But regardless of your opinion of Tina or anybody, when Mistresses is talking, you should just not listen.
Don't listen.
Or believe it. It doesn't matter. Even if she's telling you the truth, ignore her. Don't listen to her. She's only telling you stuff for her own benefit. And I'd like to think that Carrie was completely not believing Mistress, but she didn't seem to really allude either way, but she seemed very shocked at the news. I don't know. After Mistress and Georges pulled that in episode 1, I would think that if somebody else hadn't tried it, then what game are y'all playing?
I would have, yeah. Mistress set the bar for how bracket 2 was going to go.
Yeah.
Tina Burner decided not to play.
No, because it wasn't a tournament of champions, it was a tournament of alliances.
Of alliance? Is it a most valuable alliance match?
Yes!
Yes, it is. That was established. Sweet beats, Miss Burner.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Did not winning the first time you were on this not teach you anything?
You're dying first in the Hunger Games.
Bless her
That's
heart.
what's going on.
Yeah. Thankfully, Ru showed up with this week's Maxi Challenge. Not only was it a Rusical, but it was a reboot of Star Booty. So it was Star Booty, the Rusical rebooty.
So clever.
Well, good bless. Did you ever see Star Booty?
I never saw Star Booty.
No.
And I assumed that it was just something
It wasn't good.
had been created in RuPaul's mind for this particular show.
No.
Like,
it was actually a movie.
Yeah.
And it's not good, but it's as bad or good as the films that influenced her wanting to do it. So in a lot of respects, it actually was quite good. But I was excited. I love a Rusical.
I love a Rusical.
Yeah, and I thought this was fun because Ru was going to be performing with the Queens.
How exciting. I love it when Ru performs with the girls.
Yeah. As far as the casting was concerned, which the Queens were going to do themselves, there were 2 factions. There was the good guys, a.k.a. the Booty Squad, which was made up of Coffee, Tea, and Mimi. I love those names right away. I thought it was cute, yeah.
And then there was the evil agents of Booze. Foxy, Moxie, and Pam.
Pam. I love that name.
Pam.
Just to throw it in there.
Pam.
Are we thinking Pam Grier, though?
I'm assuming Pam.
Yeah.
Foxy Brown.
Yeah. We love you, Pam Grier.
Mistress, Georges, and Lydia wanted to be the villains, of course. Very on
Why not?
brand.
No, they're already establishing themselves as such, so why not carry it through?
And Mistress somehow made herself the casting agent. Because
Yeah.
Carrie wanted to be one of the villains. She thought that would be
She
good.
wanted to be Pam, I thought it was.
Moxie or one of
Moxie,
those.
you're
Yeah.
right. It was Moxie, yeah. But,
Mistress convinced everyone to take
well,
different roles, so...
Mimi was the beauty queen, so why not be the beauty queen? And Tina was the
Brawn,
linebacker,
yeah.
so why not be...
Why not be the linebacker?
Yeah, T. Was she T? Yeah, T. And which left MPB to be Coffee, the hooker in the group. I understand when queens want to go against type or step out of their box to show growth, but this is All Stars. No one wants to see growth. They just want to see a great performance.
Yeah.
So I had no problem with this manipulation from MIB.
Although I question whether it was actual manipulation or if the casting had already been done. Because I find it curious that they had outfits that kind of worked.
Well, and
Like the
the
villains all
names and the
kind of-
breakdowns of these characters already were kind of... You know, when they said the linebacker, the brawn of the group, it's like everyone thought Tina.
Yeah.
Even Tina probably said, "Oh, it's got to be me."
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and you know, no offense to the others, but nobody's as beautiful as Carrie.
Ew.
So make her the pretty one. NPB, well, whatever's left, she'll
It's
take
fine.
it.
Yeah.
She'll take it and she'll like it.
Well, she was supposed to be an old
Hooker.
hooker, so yeah, there you go.
Nice,
Perfect.
nice.
Yeah. Old.
Hooker. Mm. I'm sure she has a lot of sales.
I mean, I'm sure she has a punch card. Some sort of...
Third job is free.
It's free third.
Well, I mean,
She's lucky to get
she'd be waiting a long time to get to
Repeat.
10. I'm just saying.
repeat business.
So that's why it's only 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, that's how I do it. When they went for their recording session with Leland and Gabe, when they got to Mistress, she didn't do that good of a job.
Yeah, it was
and
pretty low-key.
NPB kept kind of passing it, snoring, and it started to bother Mistress, which I enjoyed. And then there was that whole thing where Leland said, "Are you happy with that?" And she said, "Well, I'm happy with all of them." And he was like,
Oh,
"Are you?"
Are you? Okay. Sure.
So I think there was a moment there where Mistress was starting to realize, well, maybe she's not as flawless and polished as she likes to think she is, or tells people that she is, regardless of the truth.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that NPB was doing a little low-key shade because I didn't feel that Mistress felt comfortable clapping back with Leland for some reason.
No, yeah. Like there's certainly she'll treat all the queens however she wants, and when it comes to anybody within production, a little more respect and courtesy. One thing that did make me laugh though was
NPB singing?
oh God, there's a voice for auto-tune. Oh my goodness. Horrible. And she didn't care.
No, she seemed to be...
No, she had the ball. She was singing loud.
That's why I loved her this episode, because she was just seemed to be relaxed, having fun, knew she wasn't going to do well.
No.
But I was like, you know what? I'm learning something new. I rapped last week for the first time. I'm going to sing this week for the first time. I'm going to discover if I have any secret hidden talents.
She doesn't. None at all. Somebody who did have a secret hidden talent, Carrie Colby.
Colby.
Her session with Leland went very well because her first round was all right, but he said you have to punch it up a bit. And then she came out with this cartoon doll voice that was so funny. And immediately, it's like not only... Like, this is why when they're doing characters for an acting challenge and that, if they don't get a physical sense of the character, they can't make choices as the character. And that voice was all Carrie needed to know about Mimi. And I was all of a sudden excited for Carrie this episode.
I know, because she's a queen.
Yes.
She doesn't necessarily like to make herself look stupid, because she's a gorgeous woman, but you gotta make yourself look stupid when you're in drag. So I was very excited to see what she was going to throw down.
I feel like that was said right at me.
I feel like you should use that
as a life lesson.
As your mantra. I look stupid in drag. I look stupid in drag. I look stupid in drag.
And it's okay.
I didn't say that.
You're so hateful. And then it was off to choreo with Adam Shankman. And the thing I like about Adam Shankman is he's not as polite as Jamal Sims.
No.
No, he'll tell the queens exactly how much they're sucking
Absolutely.
And why. And I like that because I think it helps them kind of focus. Also, this is All-Stars. You shouldn't be sucking.
You don't want to be coddled. If I'm doing badly, I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want someone to be like, well, okay, that was okay. Can we get a little more energy? Can we get a little more knowing your lefts from your rights?
Yeah. The people that suck, definitely MPB, bless her heart.
Well, I mean, Mistress was having trouble, and then Lydia was having trouble, which, when you're in a group with Georgia's...
Yeah. You're already going to have trouble by comparison.
Yeah.
And they were already having their own difficulty. And what was bothering me about Mistress, I mean, I wasn't bothered. I was actually enjoying it a little bit. She was having trouble, and Adam kept calling her out on it, which made her more and more kind of self-conscious. And then the other queens were laughing at everything Adam said, which I enjoyed even more. Like it really was like a humbling. Well, I don't know if humbling is the word, but it was definitely a smackdown for MIB.
I enjoyed
a much needed smackdown.
Yeah, I enjoyed some Schadenfreude with a side of MIB's humble pie.
Yeah. I also found it kind of redundant that Adam called Tina a little too NFL, because that was her character. She was supposed to be the bronze, so...
Yeah, but she was still supposed to be a lady.
Yeah, but I think also Tina wasn't actually acting. But at the same time, it's like, well, she is playing this character, so I think that's the right place for her to be. But
yeah, she definitely had a little trouble channeling that character. NPB had trouble channeling anything. Pretty much anything. Yeah. So I was prepared for this to be a complete and utter train wreck.
Yeah, on all fronts. Yeah. And I couldn't pop the corn fast enough. Yum. And then it was elimination day. As the queens got themselves ready for the Rusical, MIB kept engaging the other queens by asking if you're in the bottom, who you're going to give your point to, or that kind of thing. And Carrie she even asked Carrie who she would give a point to, and Carrie had a great answer. She said, well, I think I'd have to be in the moment and then give my point to whoever I feel needs it or deserves it the most. And then said, so you're not off the table, which I think is the best way to handle MIB.
A non-answer.
Yeah, a non-answer that still features her in the mix.
Yes, yeah.
Because she's not going to start plotting.
No, she can still be deluded and be like, all right, she's going to give me something.
Yeah, because the other thing is with Mistress, I think she really does think some of these queens are too stupid to make decisions, so she wrongfully banks on that.
That's the thing, Mistress just
Kindness isn't a lack of intelligence.
Yes, Mistress assumes they're dumb, but they're just nice.
Yeah.
They just don't expect the shady shenanigans, so...
shame on you, MIB. Just saying.
Tina was still bitter boots, because none of the queens were using her system of assigning MVQ points.
Which would put her in the front.
Which we still don't understand what that system was. I think that system was just more points for Tina.
Yeah.
Or even out the scores and let the challenge be what determines who goes through.
Yeah.
Tina, too little, too late. TLTL.
Yeah. Shut your face hole is the end of that.
Yeah.
Shut it hard. On the main stage, Ru looked stunning in a white and black buffalo check tablecloth. I mean, it was well fitted. That's a table you can't rest a drink on, but yeah, I thought she looked good.
Yeah, but you could have a picnic on her when she's done.
Yeah, Michelle Visage was there looking stunning. Sometimes whatever wigs she wears, sometimes she doesn't have the gray in it, and I like the gray when it's in it, and this retro look on her was stunning. Carson, thank God he's back. Oh, I just feel so much better when he's on the panel. Which is funny because there was a period there at the beginning.
You didn't like him.
I didn't like him. No.
You were not bored.
No, but I think what it is I just don't like Ross more.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all relative.
Yeah. And Adam Shankman was wearing one of Michael Jackson's old band leader jackets. Looked great.
Looked great.
Yeah.
Looked fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Up first, the Rusical. What did you think of this Rusical?
Yeah. All the talk of the Queens got to do a Rusical
with Ru.
And then they were never got to do the Rusical with Ru.
Clearly she recorded that weeks ago.
Could have been months ago.
Yeah.
Months
ago. Could have been 4 or 5 All-Stars ago and never got used.
Never got used.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But I was glad to see her up there doing something.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun watching her stomp around.
I didn't like her outfit, that silver Yeti.
I loved it. I thought she was serving some like Mr. Tumnus at the Narnia Winter Ball.
But she did a good job.
Yep, she did a great job.
She did as good as any of them did in the musical. So, I mean, that's the thing I appreciate. It's like if you're going to judge these queens, you had better at least be able to throw down in the ballpark.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I thought she was fine. And then we got to see the Booty Squad and Carrie Colby.
Oh my gosh.
Shocked the heck out of me.
I couldn't take my eyes off her.
She was so funny.
Did you recognize the dress she was wearing?
It was her. Was it like the reunion
dress? Yeah, but Tina Burner had shortened it for her.
So kind, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Tina helped Lydia with her sewing issues day one, and Carrie now. So, at least Tina's user friendly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carrie Colby. Not only was that voice hilarious, but in that wig, I thought that Carrie was a perfect storm of Suzanne Summers, Anna Nicole Smith, and a sex doll. She just was.
It was perfect.
Flawless. I couldn't keep my eyes off her.
It was such a funny voice. I'm like, are you one of the Powerpuff Girls? Like,
yes.
It was so much fun. She was a shock. NPB.
Oh my God.
I enjoyed because she was having fun, even if she was not necessarily doing any of the choreo properly.
No.
She still seemed to be having a really fun time.
She looked good. This is the most feminine she's looked. Yeah. The wig was fabulous.
It all made sense.
Yeah.
And Tina Burner was fine.
Absolutely
but forgettable.
Fine. Yeah, she didn't do anything that stood out, but she didn't hold anyone up.
Yeah. She didn't stand out by sucking, but she didn't stand out by being amazing.
Yeah.
She was in
for
the
a New York
show.
queen, she was mediocre. Yeah.
Well, she's she's either in an off-Broadway show or she's in an on-Broadway show, but she's in the chorus. Yeah. She's not in the front.
She's not even she's a standby dancer. She just waits in case somebody throws a shoe or trips on some beads.
She's a standby dancer.
As for the agents of Puss, I was shocked at how mediocre Mistress was.
Mistress was very boring.
I hated what she was wearing.
Ugh,
it hid her whole body.
It was awful like that. And putting that hair... she just looked like she was eating out of the dumpster behind some hair salon.
Yeah.
And that just came... I was like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah, she heard a noise and looked up.
The vocals were better than I expected them to be, but also... Those vocals had been processed.
Oh, please.
Many times, yeah.
During the judges' critiques, more than a couple of them mentioned that Mistress didn't extend her arms fully. And I don't think that's the case. I think she did, but all that hair hid her limbs. She could have been standing stock still and just shaking, and it would have been the same movement. So I thought she made some really bad choices with this whole thing.
Bad choices.
Lydia looked amazing.
Lydia was super fun.
And she did much better with her choreography.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So all the practice that she did overnight definitely worked.
Paid off, yeah.
She held her own against Georges, and Georges, of course, looked flawless and gorgeous and perfect and
I did like that whole side mouth thing that she did for a couple of minutes here or there, but short of that, she looked like she was wearing a hooker bathing suit you can buy in downtown of any large city.
Is that where you buy your hooker bathing suits?
Well, I don't buy them, but yeah. They're little. I just slip them in my dad's bag and go. Yeah. And then she had those stars kind of attached to them, which I felt she had stolen from MPB's first look that first week. But her face was flawless, and the wig was great, and she didn't do a bad job. She didn't hold anyone up either. So, clearly the Agents of Puss and the Booty Squad had their weaker links, but all in all, I thought they did a fine job.
Yeah, no one pooped the bed, but no one really shone. Like it wasn't like the last All Stars Rusical where George is just
I think that Carrie
shone.
shone. I think that Carrie did. Yeah. And I think because I expected nothing from NPB, she surprised me.
Yeah. She was fun.
Yeah, but if you had just walked into a room and watched that, I think anyone would say, "Who's that tall blonde?" Yeah. But nobody would be talking about NPB. Mm-hmm. But because we've seen her not do well, this was a nice change.
It was a nice treat. Yeah.
Well done, NPB.
Refreshing.
Cheers to you, darling.
Cheers to you.
Good to you, sweetheart. Happy Pride. Shut your face.
And once someone tells you how to work the internet, you'll see this comment. Because she's old.
It's true, she is. She's ancient. Bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
And then, category is Wild Wild West.
NPB was first down the runway as a carousel pony.
Is that really what she was? Or was she just some sad little amalgamation of whatever she had at home to make a look happen?
Well, it looked like she borrowed some teenager's headgear for the headpiece and just kind of took off the front part.
And that pink unitard, like she tried to stone it, but there weren't near enough stones on it.
Yeah, and
that saddle was... The only thing interesting about this whole look was that it looked like her horsetail was on the end of a butt plug that was firmly inserted. Like, that's the only thing that made it like, what's going on?
It's coming right out of her pooper.
Yeah,
but we've seen this look before.
Yeah.
We've seen this look done better. We saw it with like a bit in the mouth and hooves, or actual hooves. So for NPB, I think this was very out of the box for her. So I think she was very proud of herself. But I was kind of like, we kind of seen this.
Yeah. I had to give NPB a finger don't. What was she thinking?
She was thinking...
Maybe that's as good as she thinks.
Very out of the box. Maybe she just wanted someone to give her a sugar cube.
Or a carrot. I'd be afraid where she put that carrot after looking at that horsetail. I'm just saying. In contrast, Tina Burner, at a distance, I love this outfit. I was so impressed. First of all, she was wearing a brunette wig, which she rarely does, which I like. And this Wild Wild West version of Wonder Woman or whatever, I thought the boots were gorgeous. The color was great. Up close, it was a little clunky looking, but I like the attempt. I don't know who made it, but I think they did a good job. It certainly has been one of the better things she's worn down that runway.
Oh, absolutely. I love the idea behind this. I thought it was such a clever take on Wonder Woman. But yeah, it was better from far away, and then from up close, like especially on the bustier, like whatever was going on with the rope, I'm like, I think that could have been resolved a little more cleanly, a little more polished. But I quite enjoyed this look from Ms. Burner.
Yeah, I totally gave it a Fingerdoo. Good for her. A little too late, but whatever.
TLT. Yeah. Gary Colby was up next, and I did not like this outfit because it took me a while to figure out what I was looking at. Because she had these like diaphanous chaps that weren't really chaps, and this big box on her head that I guess was supposed to be a white cowboy hat that was like raining, and then a weirdly fitted, I don't know, bodysuit that looked like maybe Lydia had made it for her.
Yes, exactly.
Like there were bits of it.
My eyes had nowhere to land on it.
I didn't understand what I was looking at.
She looked great.
Because she looks gorgeous.
But the outfit itself, like if it were on anyone else, would have looked even worse. So I had to give it a finger don't. I mean, she tried. She made that herself. She wanted to come to Drag Race making one outfit herself, and I think that's where she went wrong. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, just because you put your kid's picture up on the fridge that he paints in kindergarten doesn't mean it's a good picture. No. I made it myself. Well, good for you. Yeah, Let's just put this outfit on the fridge, and we'll get someone better to make the outfit that we're going to put in the gallery. Yeah.
You know what the other queens made? Better choices. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Better choices.
Next up was Mistress, and at first glance, actually, I just was not impressed by this outfit. I thought it was very standard, like a cowboy hat, a onesie. There was some body shaping on it that was interesting. But it looked like it was overly stoned. It's like she got a toddlers and tiara outfit and put way too many stones on. I kept expecting the hat to collapse, or it just looked overly done. And I mean, I find it hard that I'm saying that there were too much stones on it, but there were too much.
Gasping.
On top of that, whatever she was wearing on her legs, if they were pants, they should have been flared out so they looked more like pants. But they looked like they were meant to be body like a tight.
Yeah, like a...
And they bloused and they gathered and they pinched and they also looked dirty, like she'd been dragged behind a horse, possibly MPB.
Possibly MPB, who knows?
But I was not impressed.
It looked like a toddler's and tiaras with a thyroid condition.
Yeah.
Like that's...
For somebody who keeps telling everyone how polished she is, this was a shock for me. So I totally gave her a Fingerdoo. Lots of Fingerdoo's this week.
Lots of Fingerdoo this week. I did enjoy that she was like, I'm going to show Tina Burner how to do Tina Burner drag. I was like, well, I don't know if that was a success.
Did you? I think you're the reason why she stopped doing it. I'm just saying.
Next down the runway, Lydia B. Collins, wearing some ridiculously wide cow print chaps and just denim and ropes and some sort of weird skull on her head.
Hat. Yeah.
It was 100% Lydia, but the Lydia that we're getting to know and love on All Stars. Very refined, very.
I love the rope detailing up the legs and then up the center front. Without the hat, it still looked great. Like, I was very impressed by this look, so of course I gave it a Fingerdoo. And well done, Lydia. She totally made that. And, you know, here's the lesson Carrie needs to get. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then Georges. And although she was on theme with the Wild Wild West being a saloon girl, and she did look fantastic. I'm not saying like her face is always flawless, and this outfit looked expensive, but at the same time, it didn't seem to meet the criteria that was set by the other queens. And the stones on it even looked like she used bigger stones so she would get it stone quicker.
I liked it better from further away because of that. Like up close, I was like, oh, it looks a little bit cheap up close. And not that, you know, I mean, I love it when drag queens look cheap, but like deliberately cheap.
For a lot of the stuff she wears, this is very similar to a lot of the stuff she wears. A onesie with a different theme. The color was gorgeous. The stones were gorgeous. Her face was gorgeous. So I gave her Fingerdoo, but I wasn't as impressed with Georges as I have been in the past. Just saying. So the little judges' critique and a quick costume change by the queens. The top two queens were announced. And who did you think was going to be in the top two?
I thought it was going to be Carrie Colby.
Absolutely.
Georges, just because Georges did a great job and I love Georges.
Yeah.
And Lydia, I thought Lydia did a really good job.
Yeah.
But also, like, Tina didn't do as bad a job as the judges said she did. Well, they said she did a good job, but she just didn't stand out. Like, she did everything that she was supposed to do, but she never pulled focus. So she was a good supporting character, but you're supposed to stand out.
Yeah, but what they said about Tina kind of disappearing in the mix is how I felt watching the Rusical where Lydia was concerned. Until her solo, nothing she did, like I couldn't even see her. Maybe because she's standing behind Mistress, I don't know. But she didn't stand out either. So, I don't know. I definitely thought Carrie was going to be top two. And she wasn't. It was Georges and Lydia. Now, I wasn't upset by that, but still, I was more impressed by what she did than what either Georges or Lydia did. So I feel like Carrie got kind of a smackdown. This is clearly production not wanting her in the top three.
Or her runway kept her in the bottom.
But it still was better than some of the other queens.
But was it better than Georges or Lydia?
No. There you go. All right, fine. But as it was Lydia and Georges, and they had to lip sync to Beyonce's Texas Hold'em, which is not a great drag queen song.
It's a weird song.
It's not a bad song to listen to, but for performing, and you know, Georges had changed into another bathing suit with embellishments and nothing that she did. She does the same thing for every song. I mean, I'm not saying she does exactly the same thing, but I feel like she would have performed that song that way regardless of where she was or what was going on around her.
Okay, but with Georges this season, I'm finding that she's sort of doing, it almost doesn't matter what the song is. No. And for me with a lip sync, I love it when they play into the lyrics. I love it when they play into what the song is about. And Georges always looks gorgeous.
Always.
I love watching Georges move, but it just feels like it doesn't matter what the song is. She's going to do the same thing every time. Yeah. Whereas with Lydia, I felt really engaged. I always want to know what she's doing. I always want to know what she's... Well, and she's got that intense focus.
Yeah.
She did that super casual but very fun wig reveal where she just sat on the edge of the stage.
Great. Just pulled it off. Yeah, it was great. The one thing that I think Lydia has going for her is she's still new, so she's still interesting.
Yes.
Whereas we've seen all this from Georges before. So my eyes just kept going to Lydia only because I wasn't sure what she was going to do next. And with Georges, I didn't feel like I missed anything from her performance by not looking at her. But they both gave it. I didn't think either of them did a bad job. But by the time the music died, Rue announced that it was Georges who won the lip sync. Now, that gave her 3 points this episode, so she was up to 7.5. Lydia was up to 7, and that secured them both in the top 2. So now it was time for the other queen, the bottom 4 queens, to give out their MVQ points. And here's where that MPB point ruined everything. Carrie was tied with Tina with 2, but if she had gotten that if Tina had given her the point she gave to MPB, she would have been at 3, which would have meant all she needed was NPB's point and Tina's point for this challenge, put her to 5, half a point ahead of Mistress. But that's not what happened. Yeah. She did get her point from MPB, and she did get her point from Tina, but Mistress, who had said she was going to give Carrie her point, even started off by saying that she felt she had done her wrong by stealing her point at the beginning. Yeah, and I was going to give her point. But then she was a fake bitch, and I am giving my point to Lydia. Now, here's the thing. I thought for sure MIB was going to give NPB her point because all she had to do was give her point to anybody but Carrie. That's all she had to do to secure herself in the top with that half a point. But she went and gave it to Lydia, which, all right.
Okay, that's your new drag daughter, so you give her a point.
I mean, it doesn't hurt or help her, but it also is an investment in future if she needs a point.
Yeah.
So that moved Lydia up to 7, half a point behind Georges. And then MIB was at 4.5. And then that left Carrie at 4 points, Tina at 2, and MPB at 1. So the queens moving on to the semifinal were the Agents of Puss, Lydia, Georges, and MIB. And we still got the little spiel about the judges' wildcard picks for the Lollapalooza lip sync later. So, you know, who knows?
I know it's not going to be NPB. No one is going to pick her to come back.
No, and also, I don't think in this bracket there are really any queens, and I'm even including Carrie in this, although I find her much more interesting than the other two, that I think would be worth coming back, like, who could upset the competition. Yeah. So
no one who kind of got done dirty that needs a helping hand.
I feel like the right queens went through based on talent. Like, at the end of the day, Mistress isn't a bad queen. She's just a bad person. It's different. So I feel like her, Lydia, and Georges going through, that was correct. They all had won a lip sync and a maxi challenge, so rightly so. Are you upset by the choices?
No, because I didn't really think that Tina was going to go through, and NPB wasn't going to go through.
And the longer Tina whined, the less I wanted her to
go through. Yeah, because I really wanted to. I'm like, you know what? I don't remember that much of her from her original season. People really seem to like her, and
she's not a bad queen or a mean queen, but
she's just not an interesting queen.
No, exactly. That's the only crime in drag, is to be boring.
So I would love to go to a Tina Burner show, because you can't be around in drag this long and not be halfway good at it. I would go to an NPB show as well. I would like to see both of them in their own environment, their natural milieu. Yeah. Because I'm sure that what they do is very good, but what they do on Drag Race is just...
not everyone's built for competition, and there you are.
Not everyone's built for TV.
Yeah, so there you have it. Bracket 2 is done and dusted. We start with Bracket 3. I'm looking forward to Bracket 3.
I'm looking to Bracket 3.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see my ginger minge up there being all gingery.
Glamorous and toady.
Yeah, I am not a fan of Acid Betty, but I'm hoping that Acid Betty is able to MIB herself into the semifinals, because I would love to see her go toe-to-toe with MIB.
Ooh, yes.
Also, I really liked Diabetti. I know she had her issues her season. She came off very blunt and bitter and angry with a lot of, mostly Jasmine. But I still think she's a good, strong queen, and I think she's got a chance to be in the top 3 of that bracket as well.
I'm bracing myself for the cuckoo-ness and shrieking of Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
Yeah.
And I'm bracing myself for Alyssa Hunter.
I did not like Alyssa Hunter.
I don't think I'm going to enjoy her on this one either.
It'll be interesting to see her with a second kick at this can, because in the first in her season of season 14, she just kind of came in there a little hot and expecting herself to do well because of her past work and stuff like that. this is the thing with a lot of pageant queens. They kind of come in with that mental attitude. And I think that that's appropriate after you've seen one or two things from a queen.
Yeah.
But don't just start treating them like they're horrible queens. And I felt that was kind of her modus operandi that season. And
ooh, look at you
I
throwing down
know,
the
Latin, ooh la la.
the dead language of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, the last queen in bracket 3 is Denali, who I don't know that she did a bad or a good job. She was all right.
Yeah.
But I was more impressed with what she did after she got eliminated, which was the Chicago Queens video to Crystal Waters, 100%.
Real love.
Oh, it was pure love. It was
Pure love.
such a good video, and I was so impressed by it because she orchestrated that whole thing during COVID, and that impressed me. But it'll be interesting to see what she has. I mean, the thing that sets her apart is that she's an ice skater, but there's not a lot of ice on the drag race.
There's very little ice on
just
that
in the
runway.
glasses. Just in the glasses.
Very little ice.
How about you? Are you happy with who's moving on from bracket 2? Are you looking forward to bracket 3? Have you got any bets down for bracket 3? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And while you're down there, don't forget to check out the comments, leave one. Doing those 3 things is the best way to help boost my algorithm, you heard me. But if you want to go that extra mile, you can also leave a tip or do either through the YouTube thanks button or my OG PayPal link in the description box down below, which is also next to my Redbubble store link and my Patreon link, where the Fingerdoo family meet twice a month for live chats. I also want to remind you, this little beauty is still for sale over at Beauty Moon Cosmetics. It's the Wilma Fingerdoo palette. There have been some great queens posting some great looks. I've been posting them on Instagram. I'm really impressed with the variety of looks that people have been showing with this palette, and which is what I was hoping would happen. So, well done me, let's just say it. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having.
And until next time, miss me! Mwah! Yeah, I'm so happy we're out of bracket 2.
Oh yeah, bracket 2. We have 3 weeks without MIB, and I'm very excited.
Do you know what's going to happen and what the format is for All Stars now?
No, I don't understand.
I mean, clearly they're going to have a snatch game, but is anyone going home or?
I don't know. I mean, they might have to at some point.
Yeah, because why have them there?
Yeah.
Because it's not the Lollapalooza right out of the gate, is it?
Yeah, I would think so. Because then they're bringing Queen back for them. Who knows? How curious.
We'll just have to wait and see.
We'll just have to wait and see. Let it all unfold in real time.
Yeah.
Real drag time.
Yeah. And then summer break.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. I am over it.
Over it.